Good day. This is all we know today on the US-Israel war with Iran. Your clear and verified breakdown of the most important developments in the last 24 hours. What has changed since our previous report and the key developments to watch next. I am Duru Sonny George, and this is DSG Herald News on DSG Radio. Let's begin. What happened in the last 24 hours? Major military developments. In the last 24 hours, the conflict has expanded significantly across the Middle East. Iran launched a new wave of missiles and drone attacks targeting Israel and several Gulf states. Missile alerts were triggered across Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain, while Saudi Arabia reported intercepting drones over its oil-rich eastern region. Meanwhile, Kuwait's National Guard confirmed it shot down 6 Iranian drones approaching the country's airspace. These attacks mark one of the largest regional strike patterns since the war began, indicating that Iran is expanding pressure beyond Israel to US allied Gulf states. Retaliation and counterattacks. Israel responded overnight with new airstrikes targeting Iranian and proxy infrastructure. Israeli forces launched fresh strikes on Tehran, targeting facilities believed to support Iran's military operations. At the same time, Israeli aircraft carried out attacks in southern and eastern Lebanon, hitting locations linked to Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militia. The pattern now appears to follow a clear escalation cycle. Iran launches missile and drone strikes. Israel retaliates with airstrikes on Iran and proxy forces. Expansion of the battlefield. The battlefield is now expanding across multiple countries simultaneously. The latest Iranian attacks hitting Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and UAE shows that the war is increasingly affecting the entire Gulf security architecture. At the same time, Israel's strike on Hezbollah positions in Lebanon are deepening the northern front of the conflict. This suggests the war is now operating across 3 active theaters: Iran itself, Israel-Lebanon borders, and the Gulf region. Political leadership statements. The United States signaled further escalation. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced that American forces are preparing the most intense wave of strikes yet against Iranian targets. This statement suggests that U.S. military involvement is likely to intensify in the coming days. Russia has again called for urgent diplomatic de-escalation, offering to facilitate negotiations between the parties. Several European governments have expressed concern about the absence of a clear exit strategy for the conflict. Meanwhile, international humanitarian organizations are warning of a rapidly worsening civilian crisis in Lebanon. Global oil markets experienced major volatility. Crude prices had surged to nearly $120 per barrel, but then fell sharply to around $91 after comments suggesting the conflict might end soon. Financial markets briefly rebounded following those remarks, although analysts warn that energy markets remain extremely unstable. The human impact of the war continues to grow. In Lebanon, the United Nations says around 100,000 people fled their homes in just one day following Israel's attacks. In Tehran, however, hundreds of thousands gathered in a major rally showing support for Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. The demonstrations indicate that Iranian leadership is attempting to project national unity during wartime. What has really changed since yesterday? Iran has expanded its attack range to include multiple Gulf countries, not just Israel. Regional spread. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and UAE are now directly experiencing drone and missile attacks. Talk about diplomatic movement, where Russia and several European governments are pushing for urgent diplomatic talks, but no negotiations have begun. Countries and world leaders' position. The United States is signaling more intense military action, while Iran says it will continue resistance. Verified facts versus claims. Confirmed. Iran launched new drone and missile attacks across the Gulf region. Confirmed. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait intercepted multiple drones. Confirmed. Israel launched new airstrikes in Tehran and Lebanon. Confirmed. US officials warned of the largest strike yet against Iran. And Lebanon experienced mass civilian displacement. Unverified or disputed claims. Unverified. Iran claims it can halt regional exports if attacks continue. Unverified. Some battlefield casualty figures reported on social media remains unconfirmed. So why this whole story matters? 1. The risk of wider regional war. Iran's attacks on Gulf states dramatically increase the risk that multiple regional governments could become directly involved. 2. Military advantage. Israel maintains air superiority, but Iran still retains a large missile and drone arsenal capable of sustaining retaliation. 3. Global energy impact. Attacks near Gulf energy hubs could disrupt a large share of global oil export, pushing markets into volatility. 4th reason why this story matters. The conflict is now drawing in major geopolitical actors, including Russia, offering mediation, while the United States increases military pressure. Here are a few things to watch out in the next 24 to 48 hours. 1. You need to watch out whether the US launches the largest wave of strikes it has warned about. 2. Watch out whether Iran attempts a larger missile attack on Gulf energy infrastructure. 3. Watch out whether Hezbollah expands operations along Israel's northern border. And 4. Watch out any move to block shipping routes in the Persian Gulf or Strait of Hormuz. 5. Watch out emergency diplomatic talks at the United Nations Security Council. That is all we know today on the US Israel war with Iran. As this story continues to develop, DSG Herald News on DSG Radio will keep bringing you verified updates, structured analysis, and clear strategic insight every single day. I am Duru Sonny George. Stay informed, stay analytical, and we will see you in the next update. Thank you.